House Ways and Means Committee yesterday released documents sent by Hunter Biden to Henry Zhao, a Chinese Communist Party official. I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father, unquote.
James, let me save you some, let me save you some breath. If you're going to ask about this, I am not addressing, I know you do, more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
Where was the president on the day of that speech?
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Her facial expression is the exact same when I was a kid, and I just saw my sister getting yelled at by my parents, and I knew I was about to get it too. Because it's one thing when it's Fox News' Peter Doocy just giving the White House press secretary, Karine Jean Pierre, just the slightest amount of pushback. But this is literally everyone in the room grilling them as to what the heck was happening while the American public was caught up in the missing submarine story.
The president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking and the decision-making of why the president decided to invite
I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get into it.
If Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors 2 days earlier?
A couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend related to Hunter. I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
Curly wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? I mean, not a reasonable question to ask, but the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest, in some sort of a coercive conversation for business dealings by his son. Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us.
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this.
I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do
Where
it.
was the president on the day of that speech?
Thanks, guys.
Has made it very clear. I just don't have anything to share outside of what my colleagues have shared. Just not going to comment from here. Counsel, I just don't have anything else to share. I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
No, you didn't. Yes or no, was the president involved in the shakedown attempt?
Stephen, I just answered the question.
Can you just remind us what your colleague said from the White House Counsel, so we have it?
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with all of you.
And I'd just like to note here how ridiculous it is to say, I'm not going to respond to that, someone else will, and then immediately follow it up with, I've already answered that question.
Have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the White House Counsel. What I can refer you to is the White House Counsel's office if you don't want to speak to the White House Counsel's office. Again, I would refer you to the White House Counsel's office.
Now, on one hand, what an incredibly easy job is it to have to be President Joe Biden's press secretary that doesn't actually have any information on President Biden that the press wants to know about. But on the other hand, what if she's the most competent press secretary in the world? It's just that every single time she tries to get information from President Biden, it's just the incoherent ramblings of an old man.
I might add, if I didn't, I'd be sleeping alone. You have to explain, I better explain that. Some don't know what I'm talking. My wife's a Philly girl. All right, where are we going?
We head this way.
All right, we're going to go over and get some drinks.
Because even I used to have a series on this channel where I tried to translate Bidenese to English, and it was just an unlimited bucket of videos that I could make. But I'm telling you right now, doing that for too long was literally making me dumber. Because if you ever watched any of my old videos of my current live streams, you know I'm a bit of a stutterer and I'm simply not the best public speaker. Fortunately, being Asian, I could always make the excuse of saying English is my second language. If the person asking looks Japanese, I say I speak Cantonese. If they look Chinese, I say I speak Ilocano. And if they just happen to speak both, whatever, nerd, I don't need your approval. But we're getting way too sidetracked from the original point being, it's a simple tragedy that we don't know where the problem is. Is it Karine Jean Pierre, or is it at Joe Biden, or quite possibly both, because now we are literally witnessing the participation trophy generation graduate into the participation legacy generation.
Many things that made me incredibly proud to be at that podium. I'm a historic figure and I certainly walk in history every day, but this is also a historic making administration.
I genuinely don't understand how getting up on the podium and saying, I don't know, ask somebody else, could make somebody think the all-time greats of our craft, George Washington, Michael Jordan, and me. But if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on what's really going on in the world, hopefully that can earn your subscription on my historical journey to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then check out my video on how AI chatbots are becoming increasingly self-aware.